Hey everybody. Um, I am just here in my office getting stuff ready for our spring healing event that is going to be next week on the 22nd at 6:30 here in the city of El Monte, where our office is located. And I don't normally post on my personal feed, but I wanted to post because people probably see my handle. It says "Your Radical Realtor" because I was doing real estate and for a little bit here. I have my real estate license. Not because I wanted to like focus in on real estate and like making money on real estate, but because as an advocate for affordable housing and for tenants' rights, I know how out of reach purchasing a home is for a lot of tenants, especially like the tenants that we help, which are low income, a lot of them largely undocumented. So the probability of them owning in their lifetime is close to none, let alone their kids. And even young people that are getting out of college right now, um, it's so far out of reach. Anyway, you're a radical realtor because I am a proponent for affordable housing. I am a proponent for tenants' rights and for rent control and renters' protections because for the most of my life I was a renter. I am a homeowner now, but that's because I know how to navigate the system, right? As a realtor, a real estate agent, I was able to navigate the system and know I have a lot of friends and connections, and so I know the questions to ask and things of that sort. But the reason why I'm making the video is because I don't do real estate as a profession. You know, I do it to help people. I am the director or the co-director of the Healing and Justice Center, which is a nonprofit organization that me and my partner founded because we believe that in order for us to achieve true justice and to really strengthen social justice movements and to be true advocates, we have to come together as a community. And we have such trouble coming together as a community. We have such trouble being in relationship with one another. I don't know about you, but I was raised with a lot of violence. And if you want to know a little bit more about my life, you can go onto my Facebook page or even the Facebook page or Instagram on the Healing and Justice Center. And there's a video about my life and kind of like what led me to being here today. But, you know, I learned about how to be in relationship with other human beings through my upbringing. And so, you know, growing up as an adolescent, I was really violent, angry all the time, got into drugs, I stole anything and everything I can get my hands on. And just because that was my way of acting out and having some sense of control and maybe even for attention, for all I know. And it took many years, and I'm still working on myself, still healing from all of that harm and all of that trauma. And it even showed up on a lot of my professional relationships as, you know, as I was growing up, so to speak. And and so I notice in our work as advocates and as community organizers, we're constantly in conflict either with one another or with community, or our coalitions, organizations are in conflict with one another. And that's because we've never been taught how to grow from conflict. We were never brought up with ways of communicating, how to communicate well. We don't even know how to identify what we're feeling and how to communicate those. We can't make ourselves understandable to each other. So of course, when we don't understand each other, we don't get our needs for being seen, heard, felt, all of that stuff met, and we start to have feelings of anger and animosity, and then that just leads to more rupture. So we formed the Healing and Justice Center because if we're going to be better, at our social justice work, if we're going to create this world of that's more peaceful, that we want for ourselves and we want for our children, it's like then we have to adopt and learn the skills that are necessary in order to be that, right? You hear the phrase, you gotta be the change that you want to see in the world. Well, if you don't know how to deal with conflict, or if you're in fights in your relationships and you don't know how to resolve them, and the only way of getting around them is to push them down, push those feelings down and just say I'm sorry, but never truly understand and never truly connect with each other, then we're never going to get there. And our organization, our nonprofit organization, is, it's a grassroots organization. It's just like 3 or 4 of us, because there's just 2 part-timers, and me and my partner. It's like we're not getting full salaries because of the funding. There's not a lot of funding right now, and then with what's going on with the federal government and Trump and stuff, and him cutting all the federal grants, that's been impacting us as well. So we need to raise funds so that we can earn, a decent living, a living wage, so to speak. But because we believe so much in this work, we believe that in order to be able to build better systems, to dismantle the ones that we have, then was like, well, we need to be better human beings. We need to be in better relationship with one another. And that takes work, and it takes a lot of practice. And well, that's what we're set out to do. We have a parenting program called I Heart Parenting, and it's a nonviolent program whose curriculum is based off of the legacy of Ruth Beaglehole. And we learned all of this in Echo Park. And we're carrying on the work because we need to raise different human beings. We need to raise better adults, adults that are going to be more empathetic and more compassionate than we are and than we were, because those are the people that are going to lead us into that new world. You look at what's going on in the world today, you look at this administration, and you look at all the violence and the hate and the discrimination. Where do you think all of that comes from? We're not born that way. We're made that way. And we're only passing along what we know as parents, as adults. So, and then we're only modeling it. So if we are harmed or we have a lot of trauma in our history and we're not healing from that, guess what? We're going to act it out, because that's the only way that we've learned how to communicate, is by acting it out, instead of using our own understanding, our own self-empathy, and our own language to be able to get past that kind of stuff. So we're going to continue the cycles of violence, the cycles of crime, the cycles of hate, the cycles of all of these things that we as social justice advocates supposedly are trying to change. But even the advocates and even the organizers, there's no funding for this work, or very little funding. There's very little funding for this kind of work, because the connections have not been made to why we can't just be in relationship with one another, and why we just can't get along. And I'm talking about with your own family, I'm talking about with your friends, I'm talking about in your relationships, your personal relationships, your romantic relationships, relationships at work, any relationship that you have with another living being. I'm talking about all of those relationships, right? And it's not enough for just one person to do it. All people that are in relationship with one another have to learn how to do it, and to do it better, so that we can model for the rest of them what it looks and sounds like, what it feels like to be in healthier, connected relationships with one another. And this is just, I don't know. So I'm just sitting here and I'm getting all this stuff ready for our fundraising event next week. And I can't help to think about this stuff while I'm doing this. Like, we want to bring more awareness to the need for healing and wellness in anything that we do. Because if we are going to create that different world, then we need to be different people and we need to raise different adults. Hence why Healing and Justice Center. So if this is the kind of stuff that interests you, if you are a social justice advocate, or if you're a community organizer, or even if you're just a community member involved in advocacy spaces, then hit me up, DM me, and let's talk, because we're happy to share the information with each other, because the more people learn and the more people grow, the closer that we get to creating a more peaceful world. So, and if you find it in your heart to donate and to support our work, the funds that we're raising for this fundraiser go directly to our iHeart Parenting program, so that we can offer the classes that we do to the community members for free or for extremely low cost. And any amount would help. Of course, we're looking for monthly donors, monthly sustainers. $5 is the cost of a coffee nowadays. So a coffee a month is all we're asking, right? A coffee a month is all we're asking. 1 gallon of gas is all we're asking. And that would help us out tremendously. So if you want more information, you can check out our event page. You can go to healingandjusticecenter.org, and you can find more information on the Spring Healing Rooted Solidarity event that we're going to have next week. And it would be helpful. Or if you just want to talk, and if you just want to connect over this topic, then send us a message, DM me, and we'll connect some more. But if you're watching this, thank you so very much for listening. I totally appreciate it. I just wanted to be candid and honest and transparent, and hopefully that models for other people to be more of that, right? So once again, thanks again, and let me know if you want to talk.